Welcome back everybody to BeamNG.drive. So with the recent update, the entire grid map got updated, as you will have seen if you watched it, when we reviewed the Wigian. So yeah, and when I came across this map for the first time after a while, testing out that car, I came across this, which is a basically a form of decapitation for cars, really. Because it's at the right height for chopping a lot of cars up. So yeah, let's try out each vehicle on the ones that are basic on this game, not any of the mods. But so yeah, let's see what happens with the Pigeon. Now with the Wigion, this barrier took off a proportion of the bodywork, but didn't, completely kill the car, because we kept moving for quite a while. So the Pigeon here should do well, because it's quite low down, so only really the bodywork is going to get damaged, surely. Yeah, there we go. Peeled off it a little bit, basically like a half-open tin can. But the car is still drivable. Well, as drivable as a Pigeon is with only 3 wheels, but yeah, there we go. So the Pigeon has survived relatively intact, only the bodywork got damaged there. So what about a car that's a little bit bigger, like the Autobello, for instance? How will that manage? Because obviously we're a little bit bigger, a little bit taller, definitely faster. So just how will we do? Because not a lot of cars here are, well, some cars are, but not all cars are body on frame. So their bodywork is the chassis, so it's nigh impossible to decapitate them, just like that, pretty much. Spin us right the way around. Backward somersault there. But surprisingly, the car still works. Well, it will for a while, but with the fuel tank punctured, it's not going to have much long left to live. But surprisingly so, the Autobello survives. So that's another pass. Yeah, that is surprising, considering how damaged it is. The chassis is completely buckled downwards, and the front wheels don't look very much long for this world, but the car itself is still able to drive, so that's a pass as far as I'm concerned. Right, what about the Covert? Again, we're slightly building our way up in terms of size and weight here. So yeah, not sure if this is going to survive here, because with it being front wheel drive, and that's the area that takes the biggest part of this impact, this could well be our first failure. Let's see what happens. Can the trusty Covert survive? No, engine's broken, and we've lost half of our drive shaft. Nearly did a complete full backwards somersault, but yeah, the engine is dead, and the car is been turned into a catastrophic mess, really. Which I guess was no surprise. So the Covert is our first failure. So what about a classic muscle car? Actually, the Miramar. And this is the kind of body on frame kind of vehicle that I've been talking about. Let's go with the standard Lux Miramatic. This should survive, if I know this car well enough to say that. Nope, engine broken, drive shaft broken, and completely bananaed. Even if the drive shaft and the engine hadn't broken, as you can see, none of the wheels are touching the ground, so yeah, that would not have progressed anyway. So that's our second failure in a row there. Let's pick this up, let's get some successes back. Let's try out a classic muscle car or two. We'll try out the Blue Book first. Now this is a body on frame car, I know it is, so we might well have our first full peel here. One tyre fire, that's for sure. Oh, there goes the bodywork. Not a complete peel though, the rear seems to have hung on a little bit. The rest of the car seems to have gotten that away with that fairly well. The radiator's punctured. If that's the only damage we're going to take, then yeah, we have our an hilarious edition of the Blue Book, really. Yeah, that is funny. I mean, that is too funny not to take a picture of, so I'm just going to quickly take a picture. That might well be the thumbnail. Never know. But yeah. Let's get on to the next car. Let's do another muscle car. Let's do one that we is notorious for. He's notorious for splitting in half. The Gavril Barstow. We'll go for a 423 V8. It's quite a large engine. Again, doing a one tyre fire. But this car has been split in half in crash tests that I've done before in my own time, so who knows, maybe that'll happen this time. Yep, there goes the engine and the front wheels, while the rest of us is left far behind. Not a peel, but a split in two. And there goes the front like nothing has happened. To be fair, the front has survived fairly well. No, come back. Can I actually stop it? Yeah, I can still brake the car even though obviously we're not in one piece anymore, but yeah. The front has survived fairly well, but obviously that's not going to be drivable anymore because, yeah, it's not front wheel drive, so yeah, even if the engine and the brakes and the wheels have survived, we have no rear drive shaft left to propel the car, so yeah, that's another failure. So we've not had many successes on this so far. So let's try out another classic and try out a Burnside. Now this might well peel nicely. We'll go for a police version. Come on, don't crash on me. Again, one tyre fire, classic muscle car. Or just a classic American car in general, to be honest. What's gonna happen? Yep, we've peeled. Are we gonna completely come off? Yes, we are. And it still moves. I mean, there's not much left of the car. The fenders, the front bumper, obviously the wheels, the engine, the driveline is fine, but not much left of the bodywork. But the radiator has survived, which did not happen with the Blue Book. So in terms of spectacular peels, I'd say this is probably the better one, just in terms of the fact that engineering-wise, most of it is fine. So yeah, obviously the chassis is bent quite severely at the rear, but that's just because the bodywork peeled back and rolled onto the back of the vehicle, and that's why it bent downwards. But the chassis being bent like that did not impede it whatsoever. So yeah, that is massively impressive. Last of the classics now is going to be the Bruckell Moonhawk. I think we'll go for the four-door sedan, just because then there's more to peel. I do hope this is an appealing episode. But yeah, let's see what the Moonhawk can do. Well, this is quite a little bit lower than the Blue Book and the Burnside, but regardless, we are going to peel. Just not all the way though. Lost our doors though. We lost our drive shaft? Nope, we've not lost our radiator either, so this Goes alongside the burn side in terms of engineering wise being okay, but it did not completely peel the bodywork there. So I'm not calling that as successful, but it's not taking as much bodywork damage. But yeah, the car is yeah, another one that has gotten through fine. Right, let's move on to something a bit newer. I'd say this Avita bolide might well just go under completely, so let's just try that out. Because if it doesn't, it's going to slightly clip the roof, and that can be worse than hitting it completely. Because you're not getting a clean cut. I think this is going to go completely under though, to be honest. Yep. The Savita bolide there is the limbo car, because it cannot get touched by that. So in terms of successes, in terms of no damage whatsoever, then the bolide is going to be unbeatable, because that is the lowest car in the game. That is standard. So yeah, right. Let's move on to the 90s. Let's or the 80s even, with the Bruckle Legrand. We'll go for the Sport S and see what that can do. Pretty sure this is a unibody car and not a body on frame. But this is a good way of finding that out, to be honest, so let's see. Yep, unibody car. It's like the Corvette, to be honest, and that has completely killed everything important. Engine and drive shaft. And even the camera. Everything's everywhere, but yeah, that's taken a hell of a lot of damage there as well. So yeah, not a particularly safe car, and not one that can manage to get through the barrier as well. So 0 marks there for the Legrand. So let's go on to the ETK. We'll go with the 2400. Should be fast enough. I imagine again this is probably built like the Legrand, to be honest, but this is rear wheel drive, so that might well stand it in favour of being able to drive away at least. Nope. Engine and drive shaft are gone. And everything's dead, and we're hanging up in the air again. Impaled, as you could probably well say. So yeah. Sorry for the slight edit there, but my BeamNG game, or this game, decided to close down randomly. So yeah, let's try the Bishu Hopper. Now this is a body on frame car, so I'm expecting a good peel here. So let's see what happens. This car has failed spectacularly in various ways for me in the past, although yeah, let's see what happens. Oh, there we go. Complete clean cut there. Yes, the radiator has gone, which didn't happen with the burn side of it, see, and the blue book, but that was especially clean. The chassis hasn't really bent either at the rear. Yeah, that's barely gone down at all. Yeah, that is a spectacular cut there, and still perfectly drivable, even without any driver. So yeah, there we go. That is spectacular, that is. So let's try out a couple of other off-roaders, or off-road orientated vehicles, like the pickup truck for instance. The D-Series. And we'll go for the Charo V8. It's technically a mod, but only in terms of the bodywork. Nothing else really. And then the 8 means more destruction with more bodywork, doesn't it? So there we go. What's gonna happen? The front might well get underneath the bar. Yeah, just. The rest of it isn't. Oh, very nearly a good peel there. It just stopped at the end. And as a result, I don't think we're going to be able to get going forward. Because we are jammed into the barrier, so that is technically a failure because it still can't move. That is a big shame there. Let's put it in low gear, see if that helps. Nope. Is it going? Nope. Oh, that's technically a failure there on the D-Series' part. Still works, radiator's fine and everything, but it cannot move further than the barrier, so technically a failure, I'm afraid. So let's try out the Roma. I think this is a body-on-frame car, so we should well do well. We're going to go for the facelift version though. Yes, it's been facelifted, but does that mean it's any different in terms of what it can do, in terms of, you know, crashability? I doubt it's any different really underneath. Still pretty sharpish. But I don't even think the bonnet is going to get under this thing here. Is it? Ooh, just by the skin of its teeth. That is a lovely peel though. Literally all that's left is the front fascia. Everything else has gone. But we've still got the radiator. And yeah, it still drives perfectly well. Chassis has bent a little bit, I think, but not too bad. And yeah, it still drives nicely. So yeah, the Roma there is a pass. A spectacular one at that as well. So yeah, let's move on to the van now. This could be go either way, to be honest, because I'm pretty sure it's body on frame, but then again there is a lot of body there, so yeah, and I really don't think we're going to be going that quickly enough to really completely shred it. At the end of the day, we are a van after all. Yeah, easily one of the slower cars that we've had. Is that going to make any difference? Oh no, it's gone. It worked. And in fine style as well. Because we haven't lost the radiator. And in fact, I think that's the most amount of bodywork that has been lost off a car. Outside of maybe the hopper. Because we've only got the front bumper left. That's spectacular. And we're still perfectly drivable. Who needs bodywork? Everybody, really. But yeah, that's still spectacular nonetheless. Right, let's move on to something that we've recently had added to the game in the form of the Soliad Wendover. Wherever it is. There we go. So yeah, I've not tried this on this, in this kind of destruction aspect before, so yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what this can do, because I have no idea what it's like underneath. No idea if it's body on frame or it's unibody. So this is going to be an interesting one, hopefully. It is quite low at the end of the day. It's going to be that roof line that's going to take the biggest whack. Oh! Yeah, definitely unibody. And that has been catastrophic. So I think we're learning here today that if you are in a body on frame car, your car is more likely to survive than if it's not. Not that you would survive, but your car definitely would. So yeah, let's try out the Grand Marshal. Now this is probably the last of the body on frame cars, so this should do well. Tyre firing it again, despite being from the 90s, but even American cars from the 90s were technically based on cars from the 70s, and cars from the 70s were technically based on cars from the 50s, so yeah, cars like this have the roots way back. It's a peeler though, not quite as dramatic as some of them, and we have actually lost the drive shafts, which is obviously a loss there, but we did peel it completely. But we just can't drive away, so therefore it is a failure. Which is a shame, because that peeled really nicely, but that is actually the first full body peel that we've had that has not been able to drive away. So yeah, clearly the drive shaft on that is really rather quite weak. Right, let's try out the Bishu Pessima. I doubt these are going to work really. These last few are going to be quite the damaging ones, because yeah, I'm pretty sure these are all unibody. Being Japanese and from the 90s, it's unlikely to be a body on frame, but we'll see. Certainly no slouch. Oh, that is painful. Yep, unibody car. Ow. Yeah, there's nothing really on the left that's workable, really. Which I guess is no surprise. Right, we'll do a couple of properly modern cars, see what happens to them, and then we'll try out a semi to finish off. So, we'll go for ETK 800 series. And to give it a fighting chance, we'll go for a coupe or a saloon. I don't think there are any coupes actually, are there? All four doors by the looks of it. Ah, this looks like a coupe. Is it? Come on, tell me, show me. Any day now. Yes it is, right, this gives it a fighting chance, I think, because that means less bodywork, but again, highly unlikely that a modern car like this is going to be a frame on body on frame vehicle. But it could still well make it through. Or not. Ow. For some reason the rear has taken most of that damage and the front is fine. That is surprising, but either way we are not getting that out of there, so yeah, that's a fail. Guess that was no real surprise in all honesty. And finally we're going to try out the Cherrier. We're going to go for a tall boy, just for the fun of it. Go for the Tograg, or Tograg, or however you say it. Now these are extremely safe, these are, but that does not mean it's going to be able to do with this. Ow. I love how it stretches them as well when it crashes into it, but yeah, everything's dead. And we're hanging in the air. Right, so let's finish off with a semi-crash. Now these are body on frame, but they are obviously quite tall. So what's going to happen? We'll have to see. We'll just go for the basic one. Not going to be going particularly fast, which might well hinder its chances. Come on, let's at least do 50. About 55, what's going to happen? Oh, everything's gone. The engine has been completely shoved right back to the end of the car, and that's actually, well, the semi, and that has actually stopped us completely. Well, as a rolling chassis, it's fine, but as a workable vehicle, it is dead. Dead, dead, dead. And yeah, the cabin has flown off as well, so yeah, that's not good either. So yeah, there we go. Just a quick, small, you know, well, I say quick, it's not particularly short, but yeah, just a bit of fun there, testing out a bit of the new grid map, which, as you will have seen in my Widgeon video, is absolutely ginormous, and there's plenty more to it than just this destruction part of the map, but yeah. Still, destruction is the name of the game on this, so yeah, that's why this is my favourite part of the map. But regardless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!